Fist dump. Somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody.
Red and yellow, brown, black, and white. We're all precious in God's sight. Everybody is somebody. Stop the violence. Save the children. Stop bullying. Save the children.
Hold your head high. Stick your chest out. You can make it. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Well, it's another Saturday morning. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are. We're grateful that you're with us on the Saturday Forum. Now, I want you all, wherever you are, to type your city. If you're in Chicago, say South Side, West Side, but whatever city, country you are in, we want to connect with you. And don't forget, you all, you want to subscribe to Rainbow Push on YouTube. You can catch this if you get busy or you get pulled away from your TV. Today, we want to celebrate gold medal in the Winter Olympics. None other than Erin Jackson. She is the first Black, let alone woman, to win speed skating gold. And we're grateful for that moment in Black history, especially during Black History Month. Today, we want to remind you that March 7th, Bloody Sunday, all roads lead to Selma. Not only are we going to celebrate, but we're going to bring young people with us. So stay tuned for more details, but it's not too far away, but we're heading to Selma. Well, the push is on today, and Bishop Tavis Grant is going to give us a report from the field. We're going to have an educational moment. Our Push Now guest, someone you want to connect with. She's an artist like none other, Janine Harris. And last but not least, Due Process with none other than Dr. Todd Yeary. Well, as we do all week, we want you to tell someone that the push is on, but we want you to enjoy this moment in Black history.
Friends, I want to give you a short lesson. Don't think that you can't do something because of your age. You can do something. If you hear some bad news and you feel in your heart that you want to respond in some way, talk to your parents about it. Talk to your brothers and sisters and cousins about it. Pray about it. Meditate about it. But do something about it, because at the end of the day, it's not just a time to speak. It's also a time to act.
Oh my gosh, did you hear about the news?
No. Man, that's awful. Y'all, what should we do about this?
Yo, we have to think about this. We have to pray about this.
No, we gotta speak about this.
We gotta teach about this.
Wait, no.
I got it.
No, it's time to act.
It's time to act. It's time to act. It's time to act. It's time to act. It's time to act. Youth of today are leaders of tomorrow. Nelson Mandela.
The revolution has always been in the hands of the young. The young always inherit the revolution. Huey P. Newton.
In my opinion, the young generation of whites, blacks, and browns are living at a time of revolution, a time where there's got to be a change. People in power have misused it, and there's got to be a change. A better world has to be built. Malcolm X.
Each generation must, out of relative obscurity, discover its mission, fulfill it, or betray it. Franz Fanon.
Every man has a right to his own opinion. Every race has a right to its own action. Therefore, let no man persuade you against your will. Let no other race influence you against your own. Marcus Garvey.
I, for one, believe that if you give people a thorough understanding of what confronts them and the basic causes that produce it, they'll create their own program. And when the people create their program, you get action. Malcolm X.
Lift up yourself, man. Take yourself out of the mind and hit your hopes to the very stars themselves. Let no man pull you down. Let no man destroy your ambition. Marcus Garvey.
What matters is not to know the world, but to change it. Franz Fanon.
We did it before, we can do it again. John Henrik Clark.
Hi, I'm Dr. Sonia Whitaker, National Education Policy Director for Push for Excellence. And we are excited to share with you that the next event in our virtual national town hall discussion entitled Shaping America's Education Agenda, Preserving Cultural Identities and Historical Perspectives is coming to you live on February the 24th at 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. We are also thrilled to share with you that we have a distinguished group of panelists, and our panelists will engage in spirited conversation about preserving the entirety of America's culture. You don't want to miss out on this discussion. Join us live by registering at pushexcel.org. We look forward to seeing you.
Well, it's Spotlight on Education. We try to bring you new education topics each and every week. Today, I am so excited because many of you have been wondering, how can I get prepared? How can I go to college and afford it? Or how can I move towards a career directly? Well, we have the president of Kennedy King College, Dr. Greg Thomas, and we have the dean of enrollment, Ms. Tanisha Jackson, from Kennedy King Community College here in Chicago, and they're going to talk about community colleges and why we're spotlighting Kennedy King, because they're doing better than anyone else. That's why. So we're going to hear from them in just a moment. I want to ask, first of all, President Thomas, how long have you been at Kennedy King as president?
I've been at Kennedy King College for 3.5 years, so it's been an honor.
Well, I heard some great things about what you've done what has happened at Kennedy King since you arrived there. So why don't you tell us a little bit about some of the programs, some of the funds you've raised, and some of the initiatives that you're proud of. Because Reverend Jackson said, just so you all know, Reverend Jackson wanted us to make sure that we said Kennedy King is spotlighted today, Kennedy King Community College, because one, it's the best in the nation. That's what he said. We're in Forbes. And then he said, well, we're the best in the state of Illinois in terms of community colleges. So you're going to hear why we say that and why you should send your child to Kennedy King Community College in Chicago.
Right, so we've had a lot of success. As Reverend Jackson pointed out, we were ranked in Forbes magazine as being #1 in the state of Illinois and #8 in the entire United States of America.
But don't say that so fast. #8 in the whole country of all community colleges?
Yes, ma'am.
That's major.
Yes,
There's a lot of community colleges.
Quite a few, yes. For us to be #8 in the entire United States is definitely significant. Really proud of that, and we have a great faculty at Kennedy College and staff, amazing students, and we're there to serve the community. So we're really excited.
So what's your background in terms of education? And then I want you to tell us what programs people who register at Kennedy King can receive a certificate for, or they can get a 2-year degree in.
Great. So my background, I'm also a former community college student. I grew up in New York City. I transferred from a community college in New York to Howard University. Stayed there for a number of years with my lovely wife at Howard University as well. We settled to DC. I worked at a university there. I went on to get my master's degree and my doctorate degree, my PhD in community college leadership, and have been committed to the community college for years.
So you started community college and now you have a PhD?
I have a PhD, yes. So I went from that point from an associate's degree to a PhD.
Okay, so what made you hit the Forbes #1 in the state and #8 in the country? We never heard that about Kennedy King before.
Well, I think part of what we've been doing is a lot of equity-based initiatives at the college. So we wanted to look at our data, and our data demonstrated clearly that there was a need for us to have more of an active role in the IT sector. So we created a new initiative called the Launchpad at the college.
Launchpad?
Mm-hmm, the IT Launchpad at KKC, and we did not have a major footprint in IT. As you know, there's lucrative job opportunities within the sector, and also the data being crystal clear to us that people of color, particularly African Americans, were not really represented well in the sector. So we wanted to make sure we created that pipeline.
I could get trained in IT at Kennedy King?
Yes, you could.
I'm on my way.
Yeah.
Parents, get your child up. Get them up so they can get ready to go to Kennedy King Community College. IT.
Yes.
So what else you teach?
So just quickly with IT, we have certificates and degrees. So sometimes people are under the impression that you have to get a degree to make a lot of money, but you can get a certificate and make incredible
What kind of
salaries.
certificates can I get?
Cybersecurity, cloud security. We have an assortment of different industry standards and certificates, which with AWS, Cisco, the people in IT sector will know what I'm talking about. But yeah, we have a lot of opportunities in the IT sector.
So then they can walk out of Kennedy King into a job.
They definitely can.
Okay,
And we
IT.
have partnerships with IT corporations that are waiting to hire our students. Right. So in addition
So
to
if your child's sitting at home watching television doing absolutely nothing on that phone, send them to Kennedy King so they can get into IT. What else?
IT. And also in IT, for a lot of our younger students, they love gaming. So we have a gaming program.
You teach gaming?
We teach gaming
I
too.
want to learn. I
Yes,
want to learn
indeed.
gaming.
So, in addition to that, we're known for Dawson in terms of our construction sciences. Another one
So
of
wait
our...
a minute, construction, trades.
Yes,
So
indeed.
they can learn all about the basic trades.
Yes, so plumbing, welding, again, construction management,
We
construction
need
science.
to make sure that we have more people. So do you refer them out to companies as well?
We do. Again, we have partnerships, not just in the IT sector, but we have corporate partnerships in all of our various program areas.
Okay, so you got IT, you got corporate, construction, and what else?
We're also known for Washburn, for our culinary program.
Culinary. They got
Yes.
the best food in the country at Kennedy King.
Yeah. So
you got a working restaurant, two of them, right?
Yes, the Sakia restaurant. Yes.
Sakia, don't you? And you had one in.
That was no longer in service.
Okay, but you got Sakia.
Sakia is there, right there on 63rd and Halstead.
So, give me two things that make Kennedy King the best college in the country. You had the best programs, and you said something. You raised the most money, didn't you?
We raised quite a bit of money over the last 3 years. We received approximately about $13 million total, and beyond that, actually.
$13 million you raised in 3 years.
In 3 years, and it's come from grants from federal and state. But the big thing is we just got a $5 million donation from the Quincy Scotts Foundation. So we have tons of money available for our students, and I think Jackson can talk about our scholarships that we have available at Kennedy College, making a college accessible
So
to
you're
everybody.
saying that you got money available for scholarship?
We have money right now. It's
Right
ready
now.
to go.
So if your child, I know you don't have any money, you need to go to Kennedy King like right now. Miss Jackson, Tanisha Jackson, Dean of Enrollment.
I can tell you all about those scholarships.
Tell us all about the scholarships.
So we have the Statesman Scholarship. Provides up to full tuition, again, full tuition for any student looking to come to Kennedy King, whether full or part-time, in any credit program. That means that you have the ability to, there is no limit. So you can dream bigger, do greater, but be here with us. Because we are, as it's been stated, the #1 community college in the state of Illinois, 8th in the country. And we have over 60 credentials with opportunities for folks to go wherever they like, whether that's into another career path or to a 4-year degree. So we are your destination. We're not just a journey. We're your destination to get you where you want to go.
So do you have relationships with 4-year colleges if they want to go beyond Kennedy King?
Absolutely. We have articulation agreements with a whole slew of 4-year institutions where our students can go achieve their associate's degree and transfer on. We also have relationships where they can also get additional scholarship because they've been at Kennedy King. So it really depends. The pathways are wide open.
Now tell us a little bit about enrollment. How many students do you have compared to the other 6 colleges in Chicago?
So Kennedy King is one of 2 predominantly black institutions in the City Colleges system. Overall, we have when we take into account our total portfolio, which is our adult education, our continuing education, as well as credit, we have about a little over 5,000 students. Roughly, as we, under Dr. Thomas's leadership, put our strategic enrollment management plan in place, our intention was about building momentum for enrollment overall in that capacity. Kennedy King has achieved enrollment success this past fall, the first time since 2012. And then we are also meeting our enrollment goal again this upcoming spring. So we are looking to make sure that students get what they need from us.
Okay, so you need to go to Kennedy King. Your final words. I wish we had more time. Maybe if you will call Kennedy King, the president will come back and share more information. Will y'all come back?
Absolutely.
What do you want to say? Your final words.
Kennedy King College is here to serve Chicago, the south side of Chicago, and Inglewood. And again, we're here to make the needs of our students come true.
So wherever you are today, you can go to Kennedy King. They have money for you. They have great programs in I think, groundbreaking industries. Kennedy King should be a college of choice for your child. And if you're an adult, you want to do continuing education, go to Kennedy King.
And I need to one.
You want two?
One more.
You got one more?
We also have a new Center of Equity for the Creative Arts as well, and we have amazing programs.
Arts, media, music, communication and design, as well as film. It's all there. It's available to you.
Y'all got film and
we have film.
And television?
We have film, we have television. We have the opportunity for you to be both in front of the camera and behind the camera with who? Industry, Showtime, HBO Max, AMC, you name it. They've been on our campus. They filmed with us.
Really? And you got Abe Thompson, who's at the radio station at Kennedy King.
Absolutely.
So whatever you want to do, Kennedy King is the college for you.
Opportunities are open.
Thank you.
Push Excel's goal is to inspire students to strive for excellence in education in spite of personal, family, and community challenges that they might experience. How do we do this? By advocating for educational policies that guarantee equal funding for all students without regard to race or economic standing. By engaging parents, students, and teachers in pursuing high-quality education and striving for educational excellence at every level. And by forging partnerships with community-based and public sector stakeholders in education. Now, Push Excel is a national model program with the purpose of connecting principals, parents, popular personalities, and students in a bond and to support students at every level on the educational ladder. Now, we want you to become a member of the Rainbow Push Coalition and Push Excel. Your annual membership can help us to change policies that impact students, colleges, and universities all around the country. So step up and sign up today. Membership is only $35, and if you're a student or a senior, $15. Just go to our website, rainbowpush.org, and push join to become a member or push donate to support the Push Excel program. You can also text the word Push Excel, that's PUSHEXCEL, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give us any amount that you feel comfortable giving or call us at 773-256-2775. Wherever you are, you can support us as we keep pushing for you. And remember to keep hope alive.
Greetings, everyone. This is Dr. Joseph Bryant Jr. I am the Executive Director of the Rainbow Push Coalition, Silicon Valley Bay Area. I'm also the National Sports Director for Reverend Jesse Lewis Jackson and the Rainbow Push Organization. We are just grateful for the opportunity to represent Reverend Jackson in so many different venues, so many different avenues, and so many different opportunities as we continue to bring about change across this nation, across the world. We're excited this weekend in particular. This is the NBA All-Star Weekend, and we're grateful for our partnership with the NBA over the years. Reverend Jackson and the NBA have had a wonderful connection as they have continuously included him in much of the work, much of the decisions, much of the ongoing progress that has been made, especially as they continue to lift the banner of social justice and inclusion. And so we're very excited to be in Cleveland this weekend for the All-Star Weekend. We're doing several events, including some partnerships that have been launched recently with the NBA. They have been committed in recent days to support HBCUs. And so we're excited about the ventures that are happening. They are launching this weekend the very first NBA HBCU Classic basketball game. Reverend Jackson will be attending. As a matter of fact, he'll be attending practice with some of the players and inspiring them, encouraging them. And then we'll be attending the game as well as some post-game activities just to inspire the young people to make sure that they use their platform to impact the world beyond the court and doing, as Reverend Jackson says, having impact in life beyond the playing field, or in this case, beyond the court. We're also very grateful for the opportunity to participate in the Legends Brunch. They're going to be, again, recognizing Reverend Jackson and his work over the years. We're also doing a project with our dear friend, former NBA player Eton Thomas and his foundation. They are doing a HBCU virtual tour And so we're excited to be a partner with Eton and his group. We're excited to be able to participate in the ongoing work that Eton is doing with HBCUs. And he's already been able to reach out to Clark University and Howard, and we're just supporting that effort. Reverend Jackson is going to be a special speaker, sharing with the young people again to utilize their platform for the greater good, to be an inspiration on and off the field, on and off the court. And so we're grateful for the opportunity to utilize Rainbow Push Sports to be a vehicle for change, to inspire young people, to inspire the younger athlete as they look at themselves beyond just being a player. They're more than a player, as LeBron says. And so we want to make sure that the youth of this generation that are playing sports have that same understanding and embrace the power of their platform. And as always, we're always grateful to connect with various other partners, HBCU Heroes out of Atlanta with former NBA player George Lynch and the marketing genius, Tracy Pennywell. We are partnering again with them to prepare for job training workshops over this summer with HBCU Heroes. And so just every time we get a chance to inspire the HBCU world, we want to be able to do that. We're also partnering with the new HBCU Go TV, the online television network for HBCUs. So anytime and any chance we get to be a blessing, we want to do just that. And of course, we're grateful for our partnership with our Silicon Valley group there that used to be known as Facebook, and now they're Meta. Meta has provided us with scholarships that we're going to be making available to students that want to go into the digital world. They want to be digital marketers. They want to help build Black and brown businesses with their platforms online and various work that they could do through social media. And so we're excited about Elevate, this great program that we're doing in partnership with Facebook/Meta. And so we got an invitation just for you to be able to hear a little bit more about Meta and about Elevate and about how you as a young person, you as someone who loves young people, maybe you have some students in your world, some high school, college, job seekers that are looking to get trained so that they can be a Facebook/Meta certified digital specialist and be able to do social media, online work, marketing under the Facebook umbrella with a Facebook certification. And so here's some information on how you can sign up to be a part of our next training, which is going to be in the month of March. But again, here we are in Cleveland celebrating All-Star Weekend, celebrating Black History Month. And again, for everybody, keep hope alive. Peace.
Rainbow Push Silicon Valley's Push Tech has partnered with Facebook to bring you Elevate, an industry-recognized digital marketing certification. This enables you to market and manage Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Plus, you get access to a private job board hosted by Facebook and a network support group made up of Facebook employees and thousands of marketers, giving you direct access to industry and platform experts. Our Push Tech team walks you through the process of becoming certified from start to finish, because your success is our mission. Don't wait, now's the time. Start or boost your career and your future. Amplify your voice as a creator and earn money for doing what you love. Organizations, we want to partner with you and bring this opportunity to your community. So come visit us online at rainbowpushsv.org. Classes start in March. Let us elevate your future.
Wherever you are right now, the push is on now. And today we have a daughter of Chicago, a daughter of the movement. I want everyone to know this woman because she is so gifted and she has a story to tell. Ladies and gentlemen, this is none other than Miss Janine Harris. Janine, how are you? First thing first.
I'm delightful, wonderful, thank you.
So what is art? Let's get to the point. You are an artist, you have amazing pieces, but what is art to you?
It's my favorite question. And what isn't art? That's what isn't art? Wow. Art is everything. Art is creation. It's absolutely everything. We minimize it to dance, music, painter, but it's absolutely everything.
Wow.
Art is in the eye of the beholder, right? They say beauty, but it doesn't require your acceptance for beauty. It's unrequited, basically. Art is everything, and no matter what you're looking at, it's art.
So when we talk about this movement, right, from Margaret Burroughs, who, oh my goodness, I mean, Dusable Museum was what it is now, but prior to, just coming into spaces, homes with a message. Earl King, she's, Annie Lee. I couldn't get that name out for nothing. She has a message. Janine, what is your message? You just said it's not about, but it's not about the brushing, but it's about the message. What's the message?
My bottom line, this is another reason why I was intimidated by art. When you first start studying art, they say every artist has a brush stroke, a stroke. And so I thought, well, I don't really have a stroke, But when you listen to music, every musician has a sound. Miles has a sound. Coltrane has a sound. When you watch a basketball player, Jordan has a style, fade away. I'm telling my age, but Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, whatever, he had the hook. Everybody has a style. And so because I couldn't identify with a brush stroke, that kept me away also. But ultimately, I found that in my message, it's self-love. Love yourself.
Love yourself. Wow.
But to love yourself, you have to know yourself.
True.
And so that became a part of me knowing what I was doing when I did my art. It didn't have to look like anybody else's. As a matter of fact, it shouldn't look like anyone else's. It should look like me.
Wow.
And that's the trend. That's my stroke, love.
So when we go down the hallways of history, right, and when we look at Dr. King, his love ethic, right, and then when we look at where we come from in the struggle, in this movement, which so many moments in the movement, there was the deconstruction and the harsh policies to take away that love of self and that love of Blackness. But here it is now in 2022, the new Renaissance, right? We come through the Harlem Renaissance, the Chicago Renaissance, throughout history, but now in 2022, this message of self-love. So Janine, what piece encapsulates that idea of self-love? When you saw it, this is the essence of love. What was that moment like?
That moment occurs every time I work. If I do something for the first time, then I have to love myself enough to trust myself to proceed on if it doesn't look the way I thought it should look, if it doesn't look like what inspired it. So it's always the thing that I try first, and then the last thing that I've completed. Because it's not completed until I love it.
Wow. Run that back. Hold on. It's not complete until you love it.
Until I love it. That's the beauty of art. It does not require anyone else's love or acceptance, applause. You don't have to believe it. You don't have to come to it. But I still, as a part of my assignment, I still must go to it. I still must do it. And so it cannot be complete until I love it.
Now, Janine, you said that you were not taught, you didn't go to the Art Institute, you were a writer, and then one day you just said, I've got to get this message out. And so for years now, you were sharing that you did not give your art, you did not sell your art. It was just something that you kept to yourself. And then why now? Why now have you said, to the world, you can have this? Why?
Well, I didn't sell it before because I've always stood on this mantra, I'm not for sale.
Wow.
And what I create, it is so much of me. I'm not for sale. But as I walked closer in my journey, my relationship with God became unequivocally clear and guided, right? Then I realized I had been holding on to what God had given me to give.
Wow.
And so that became motivation. It became discipline.
You were holding on to what God gave you. Wow.
I was holding on to the gift that God gave me to give, right? Gift is for giving.
Wow.
And so we come from a generation where we hold on, we're concerned about people copying, we're concerned about people taking our ideas. But people, if someone's copying you,
it's a compliment.
Well, it's a compliment, and they can't move until you move.
Wow.
And so if I'm holding, right? I'm holding myself back and I'm holding you back.
Can we say that again? If somebody's copying you, if somebody's stealing your stuff, if somebody's trying to imitate you,
if they're moving in on you, they can't move until you move, right? And that's one way to look at it, and that'll keep you stifled like me, and you hold on to it.
Wow.
But you're not just only holding them hostage, you're holding yourself back.
Wow.
Because the more I hold on to, the less room I have to open up to do more.
So you're a daughter of the movement, right? Your mother is an amazing woman of grace. Your father painted a world for you as a young daughter. What was it like growing up in the movement, right? You come through those moments and those crossroads in Black culture. What was it like growing up for you as a young girl in Chicago?
For me, I think what makes me comfortable being different, because what my parents exposed me to wasn't different, in the totality of the world, but for my small community and small world, it was. And so I was considered spoiled. And I guess spoiled is when you have the opportunity that others don't.
Right.
But as a child, you don't see that, and spoiled is a negative connotation.
Right.
And so I had to grow out of that. And I had to come to love what was perceived as a negative. And my parents, they bred me though. They raised me to be proud of my individuality.
So your individuality is wrapped up in genealogy. Right?
Absolutely.
So that's the website, www.genealogy.com. But when somebody clicks that button, they're coming into a whole nother world. The same way your parents brought you into a whole nother world to see life. So what is genealogy? Why genealogy? What is this?
Genealogy is the study of what I've learned, what I've observed, what I've discerned, and what is necessary to be my full self. You don't have to think the way I think, but you need to learn how to think.
Run that back one more time. You don't have to think like I think.
I'm not trying to teach, I'm not trying to tell you what to think. I'm encouraging you to learn how to think.
Wow.
To think for yourself, and that it's okay to think differently. It's okay to see things differently. What's my man I love so much? Potter's House.
TD Jakes.
TD Jakes, right? Yeah. I saw he said it best. He said, standing in the same position, a giraffe and a turtle seek two completely different things, and neither one of them are wrong. And that was affirmation for me.
Wow.
Absolutely. It was another way to articulate who I am.
So when we look at the arts, right, the arts is what we had to say to the world, this is what we see, right? Whether it was in the words of Langston Hughes or whether it was in the stroke of so many different artists throughout history, you are now in this movement of saying, we don't have to agree, but I just want you to think. And these pieces of work that you have, they cause you to think. In these last few moments, Janine, what piece do you even some days look at and say, yeah, this causes me to think about my love of self, the love of the world, the moment we're in this movement? What piece, if you had to describe it, or let me ask you a question this way. If you had to paint a picture right now for us as Black people, what would that picture look like?
Well, in words, it would be love yourself. Yes, in words, it would be love yourself, define yourself, know who you are, and not allow others to tell you who you are and define you, because people will define you by their needs. And when you don't meet their needs, then you're not necessary. You feel inadequate, inefficient, worthless. And so that's I can't say it any differently. I can't say it enough. Think for yourself, love yourself, know who you are. That's what every piece that I have is the idea that we can both look at this and see something different, and neither of us are
wrong. Right. In the words of Dr. Jeremiah Wright, different doesn't mean deficient.
Different doesn't mean.
Well, we have been blessed today by an artistic genius, and I want you all to go online right now. www.genealogy.com is right there at the bottom, and I want you all to just think and fall in love with yourself, fall in love with the culture that comes with who you are, and let's keep this movement going because the push is on now.
You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free. Let's go. Standing my ground, I can't mess around now. It's like my time is in a bottle, captured by your love, yeah. Now I know women's got this thing going on. We can't stay around so long, but I wanna come correct. Baby, get your foot off my neck. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. Understand clearly, yeah, that you wanna be free. It's the time that you spend making me think within. Is the trust still beginning? Fade away, from beginning of the day. I can see you trembling times, and I can see you wondering mine. Is it me considered? It's you that's with it. See, you don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see, baby, that you wanna be free. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you want to be free, yeah. I'm just trying to be the best I can. You can call me the troubling man. Matter of fact, I'm from the side of the street. Baby girl, you're calling on me. At the time that I feel your presence around me, something that I can't let go. It's your time and everything around me there. I just wanna hold on, but you don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you wanna be free. I just wanna come correct, best I can. Baby, get your foot off my neck. And just before you just leave, I've been trying to tell you I can't breathe. You don't have to find me. I'm walking right behind you. It's so clear to see that you want me free. Pressure, just want pressure.
State Farm under fire for its alleged treatment of minority employees.
We have over 150 of your current and former employees who are making the same proclamation, and you all continue to be tone deaf.
Standing with famous figures in the fight against discrimination, Shashi Mandian says her case started with her name.
From giving me name such as Shushi. My name is Shashi State Farm. My name is Shashi.
At Rainbow Push headquarters alongside the Reverend Jesse Jackson, Mandian and her attorneys announced they're suing State Farm for racial discrimination, retaliation, and wrongful discharge.
She says employees made jokes about her Indian heritage and other minorities. She claims State Farm ignored any complaint she made to management about it.
My valid complaint that EOC and Illinois Department of Human Rights investigation clearly found validity in.
The lawsuit goes on to say Mandian was retaliated against for speaking out and eventually fired for it. The paperwork has now been filed in a McLean County court. She's requesting a jury trial and more than $50,000 in damages.
If this seems familiar, it's because a similar suit was announced in December from another former employee, Dr. Carla Campbell Jackson, who was back blasting State Farm today.
Newsflash, State Farm is not a good neighbor to people who look like you and me.
State Farm, you keep trying to talk about some policy you have, but the discrimination keeps happening and it's harming real people.
Pattern and practice of discrimination, harassment, and intimidation that must end. Beyond that, must also have equity and parity in State Farm agencies. What lawyers do they use? Advertising, marketing. We know they use artists, athletes who are appealing to us. But if these athletes know what the facts are, then we're less inclined to front off for them.
The Reverend Jesse Jackson is now asking for an audit into diversity efforts at State Farm and a look into what's being done by the company to stop discrimination.
This is Bishop Tavis Grant, the National Field Director for the Rainbow Push Coalition. I want to thank you for being a part of our Saturday morning international forum, where we're reaching people all over the world as we are keeping hope alive. Here in Chicago, we are keeping the drumbeat going as we are still demanding a federal investigation into the murder and those who have participated in the murder of Laquan McDonald. Hundreds of organizations, community activists, and social activists are joining this. If you want to know more about it, go to our website, rainbowpush.org. Of course, we're in support of the Ahmaud Arbery family as that trial is going forth in Brunswick, Georgia, as well as the family of Amir Locke. Reverend Jesse Jackson talked with them, prayed with them, and lifted their spirits as they laid their beloved son to rest. And yet we will not stop fighting in the cause and the call for a moratorium, a national moratorium on no-knock warrants. You know, these warrants endanger both the residents and the persons who are executing them, similar to what happened to Breonna Taylor as well as Anjanette Young in Chicago. And so Reverend Jackson is calling for a national moratorium on no-knock warrants. Each and every city, and we'll be naming that city and naming those mayors and police chiefs who can unilaterally call for a halt, a cease and desist of this most egregious and injurious act against the public. It's a public health safety crisis, and it must stop now. Well, guess what? All roads are leading back to Selma, Alabama, March 6th, Bloody Sunday, and then March 7th through the 11th, Reverend Jesse Jackson will be leading off the Selma to Montgomery March. It's a historic, epic time where we are declaring we want it all. You know, the George Floyd Justice Act, you know, the John Lewis Voting Rights Act, the Freedom to Vote Act, the Electoral Count Act, and Build Back Better. While there are those who are trying to take it all from us, we must march, we must organize, we must turn out, and we must declare we want it all. If you want to be a part of what we're doing literally all over the country, go to rainbowpush.org or follow us on all of our social media platforms. And never ever forget, we are keeping hope alive.
Good morning, Push family. It's always good to be with you. Certainly always good to give you an update as to what we're doing. You know I'm Cameron Barnes, the National Youth Director, and this past Saturday, last Saturday as a matter of fact, I spent the day in Quincy, Illinois. And you recall I went to Quincy, Illinois last year for a separate case. This year, there have been allies that have called on Rainbow Push again to stand with Cammie, and I got this shirt as I was marching with Cammie Vaughn. And Cammie Vaughn, if you recall, is a 16-year-old girl, or at least was 16 at the time of this incident. And in October of 2021, Judge Robert Adrian, in Adams County, down in Quincy, Illinois, found Drew Clinton guilty of one count of criminal sexual assault, given that he had allegedly sexually assaulted Cammie Vaughn at a high school party that was held at someone's house. And so what happened was on January the 3rd, when Judge Adrian was supposed to sentence Clinton, which one count of criminal sexual assault carries at least 4 to 15 years in the Illinois Department of Corrections. Judge Adrian then stated that he would reverse his own ruling and find Drew Clinton not guilty, not sentence him, and allow him to walk home free, saying that 148 days at that time Clinton had served in jail at that time. He said that that was plenty of punishment for what had happened. Certainly Rainbow Push does not agree with that. Certainly the Vaughn family does not agree with that, nor does the Quincy community. And so I spent the day with the Vaughn family, thankful to Cammie Vaughn, of course, to Scotty Vaughn and Rachel Vaughn for allowing me to stand with them and support them. Certainly thankful to Lindsay Lane, who is a community organizer down in Quincy, who put out the call to myself. We spoke to the Vaughn family, Reverend Jackson and myself, via Zoom. We certainly support the efforts of Illinois Attorney General Kwame Raoul, who has put in a call to the Supreme Court of Illinois to reinstate this charge and to hold Clinton accountable to his actions. And certainly we're thankful to Attorney General Raoul for that. Rainbow Push supports that. And certainly you may see me back in Quincy again very, very soon. That is the update, as I want you to know that this hashtag Stand With Cammie, look into that case, of course. Rainbow Push was featured in several different articles, several different news clippings. We want you to know that we stand with Cammie Vaughn, we stand with all sexual assault victims, and we want you to always, of course, remember to keep hope alive.
Welcome to this week's Due Process. I'm Todd Yeary. I start this week's segment with a question. What don't they want to talk about? It is a question that will hopefully make more sense by the time we finish today. Let me first take you back in history. It was April 14th, 1967. As the war in Vietnam continued to rage and as urban unrest triggered by police violence was happening across the country, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. spoke to an audience of students and faculty at Stanford University to discuss the disparate realities of America. In that speech, Dr. King asserted that there are indeed two Americas, one thriving and beautiful, and the other America, quote, an arena with blasted hopes and dreams, end quote. The disunity of the nation was grounded in the practical and public discrepancy between the nation's creeds and the policy deeds. Over-policing Black and brown communities, limited opportunities in jobs, job training, and other educational opportunities, along with limited opportunities for adequate housing, were causing great despair in cities far and wide, large and small. Dr. King was pointing out why a critical analysis of racial outcomes was needed. The Kerner Commission had not yet been formed. Yet the conditions that would necessitate the Kerner Commission report were well established and historically grounded. And many of the same issues remain today. As the battle over voting rights, police reform, and expanding economic opportunity continues, one issue that continues to be misapplied and misunderstood is the discussion about critical race theory. However, the media distortions and political gymnastics that continue to malign the value of diverse perspectives have confused many as to what critical race theory really is. So what is critical race theory? Critical race theory is an analytical framework that examines American history, social structures, and institutions through an organized approach that investigates and analyzes how race factors into how history is recorded and taught, how social structures are built and maintained, and how institutions and systems perpetuate inequality on the basis of racial entitlement. Critical race theory is not an attempt to demonize whites because they, white people, they too are held hostage by the system of inequality that holds communities of color in subordinate status. Some of the key questions that critical race theory seeks to answer include how the courts have been used to establish legal standards that have given whites a head start by law, while also using the law to limit a proper analysis of how these same legal standards deny the pursuit of justice for communities of color. For example, when Chief Justice Roger Taney wrote the Supreme Court opinion in the Dred Scott case, he was quite clear about the legal justifications for the racial supremacy of whites. He wrote, quote, "They, African captives, had for more than a century before been regarded as beings of an inferior order and altogether unfit to associate with the white race, either in social or political relations, and so far inferior that they had no rights which the white man was bound to respect, and that the Negro might justly and lawfully be reduced to slavery for his benefit," end quote. He further stated that the African was never intended to be synonymous with the term citizen found in the Constitution. So, black people were not considered citizens, and whites had no duty to respect the humanity nor the dignity of black people. Not theory, a quote in the annals of American history. The Dred Scott decision in many ways intensified the fight over chattel slavery, the power to hold human bodies as property. As the Civil War moved from being a prospect to reality, the desire to save the Union from a demise created by division forced the nation to take drastic measures to save the Union by addressing the issue of slavery more directly. While President Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation provided one key aspect of the efforts to save the Union, it was another piece of legislation that laid the foundation for counteracting the legal principle established in Dred Scott. After the Civil War, as the Union was being reconstituted, Congress passed the Civil Rights Act of 1866. Passed by an override of Andrew Johnson's veto, the act was the legislative reinforcement to the ratification of the 13th Amendment, which outlawed slavery except in instances of punishment for crime. It's important to note that the 13th Amendment to the Constitution was ratified on December 18, 1865. However, the Ku Klux Klan was founded the very next week in Tennessee as an overt act of resistance to the notion of black inclusion into American society. When Congress passed the Civil Rights Act of 1866, President Johnson vetoed the bill in objection over many of the provisions intended to protect the formerly enslaved person's transition into the mainstream of American society. President Johnson vehemently objected to the use of military presence and military process to ensure that any violation of the civil rights of formerly enslaved persons would be addressed swiftly. The right to participate in the fabric of American society would not be honored voluntarily by many of the former slave states. Rather, it was the presence and protection of the federal government that helped facilitate the shift from property to citizen for those upon whose backs the Southern economy had been built. We must understand that a colorblind America is an America with a permanent ocular disease. She cannot see all she must see if colorblindness is the goal. The affirmation of differing perspectives, experiences, and critiques must be part of a credible, transformative dialogue that moves the nation closer to the elusive goal of justice for all. Critical race theory explores how the law has been used to give elite whites and others a generational head start while using the same law to decry efforts at truth-telling for the record and the remembrance. Critical race theory expands the historical record so that those upon whose backs the nation has been built can avoid the self-loathing that is perpetuated by historical revision and distortion at the expense of equality and equity. Critical race theory is not about hating white people or hating America. It is about affirming the dignity of all people by way of a more inclusive, historical, and policy analysis that affirms the validity of Black perspective in the face of white indignities directed at them by using the law as a weapon. You don't have to believe me. Just ask Brittany Murphy, a second-year law student at the University of Mississippi Law School. Critical Race Theory 747 is the only course on the subject in the entire state. Discouraged from taking the class by many of her family members and friends, it was Murphy's desire for an informed perspective about critical race theory that caused her to enroll. Her parents were concerned that the course would only promote white guilt, when in reality, critical race theory promoted a deeper understanding of the complexities of race in the quest for equality. In the end, Brittany Murphy offered this assessment of the course in her written testimony to the Mississippi Senate on Senate Bill 2113. She wrote, quote, "To date, this course has been the most impactful and enlightening course I have taken throughout my entire undergraduate career and graduate education at the state of Mississippi's flagship university," end quote. Senate Bill 2113 is moving quickly through the Mississippi legislature to constrain the opportunities to develop informed, though sometimes differing perspectives on history, society, and the law. We will continue to track this bill and others across the country as we fight for the right to share perspectives and insights about the law, society, and the prospects of our collective future. So, what don't they want to talk about? Dr. King called it the other America. If we can't talk honestly about that America, this America may never be united. That's this week's Due Process. I'm Todd Yeary.
We're excited to get more people involved in Rainbow Push, supporting the programs of Push for Excellence and the Citizenship Education Fund. If you're interested in impacting public policies, if you believe in the scholarships that we give to thousands of students each and every year, you can become a policymaker by becoming a member of Rainbow Push right now. For an annual membership of $35, or if you're a student or senior, $15, you can help us make a difference in the lives of millions. How do you become a member? Visit our website at rainbowpush.org and press join. Or maybe you'd like to support us. You can text the word PUSH, that's PUSH, to 41444 on your cell phone, and you can give any amount you feel comfortable giving. You can also call us at 773-256-2775. Or go to rainbowpush.org and push donate. Wherever you are, you can support us as we keep pushing for you.